2023 is in full swing, and believe it or not, we're halfway through. So, like we do every year, we take a look back at the first half of the year and talk about some of the best games so far. Keep in mind, these aren't just like the personal choices of the Game Ranks team. These are big, massive games that reviewed well, sold well, were generally received well, or even some that came out of nowhere and kind of surprised people. Just the games that were in the conversation. So we got 10 or so to talk about. We have Octopath Traveler 2. This game seems to be like the dream come true for JRPG fans. Essentially, they took the potential that the original Octopath Traveler had and really ran with it and blew everything out. A bigger story, a more connected story, more gameplay opportunities, and of course, those incredible visuals that honestly, I can't get enough of. Seriously, those like HD 2D graphics, I love seeing this, and I hope it shows up in more games. Even in different genres would be really cool. But anyway, Octopath Traveler 2 lets you choose from 8 travelers that all have their own unique actions and interactions with people, and there's this whole new cool thing where you can switch between day and night whenever you want, and of course that changes exploration, interaction with different people in towns. The special talent powers for each character is really crazy, and it's just a much bigger game. Way more to explore, you're traveling over water, and it's just dense. There's so much to do, so many weird shenanigans to get into, and then like the music, the voice acting, all of it is top notch. People have been absolutely raving about this one. The user reviews and critic reviews have been great, and it's always nice when everybody's aligned on those types of things. So consider that at the very least an endorsement for Octopath Traveler 2. It seems like everybody really loves it. Next, over at number 4, we have the Resident Evil 4 Remake. Yeah, there's a lot of remakes and remasters and stuff, but the Resident Evil 4 Remake really seemed to nail a good balance of changing things up, shaking things up here and there, but still really preserving the core of what the original Resident Evil 4 was. There's a little bit of a shift in tone, there's way more depth to the character and the performances, there's a couple of more side diversions and things to keep you busy, but ultimately, you're still going on this adventure with Resident Evil 2's Leon S. Kennedy, way more of a badass this time around as he has to rescue the president's daughter and get into a whole bunch of weird shit. It is a descent into madness, it is a trip into literal crazy town, and there's a reason why the original Resident Evil 4 was loved by so many people, and now that Capcom nailed the remake, even more people can see why this series is so great. Obviously, this is one of the weirder games in the entire franchise, but it's also one of the most beloved. The combat is fun, the world is moody, there's a lot of tension, but so many rewarding and cool and over-the-top moments. Like, this game really packs a lot of different things in it, and I think that's why it satisfies so many people. The big question is, what is Capcom and Resident Evil going to do next? We don't know for sure, but if we're talking about the first half of this year, maybe we'll hear something next year. I don't know. Now, down at number 3, if we're talking about Capcom wins, we also have to mention Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6 does seem to be a success for the fighting game community, for general casual fighting game fans. It was incredibly well received from the lead up before, the tests, the betas and everything, to the final game. I think it's partly because they added so much content here. There's a whole world, a kind of career to progress through for casual fans to work their way through, single player content, then there's all the traditional modes, and a fully fleshed out online mode. They've got great new representations of classic characters with cool looks. There are some interesting new characters added. I mean, what more can you want from a fighting game? As long as it nails all the mechanics, and it seems like they did here, the rest is gravy. There's also multiple control schemes, so more people can get into this series than ever. It's a little bit more accessible, but it is still Street Fighter through and through, and I think that's why people really love this one. Now down to number 2, of course, Diablo 4. Diablo is always an interesting thing, like it's always an evolving thing where people's opinions of it may change over time, and Activision Blizzard could still completely change things with this game, but as of right now, Diablo 4 really kicks ass. It's got so much more of a moody, weird, creepy, gothic tone. Everything is really bleak, and it really just embraces that classic Diablo-ness, but of course, there's so much depth to every character build. Whatever class you choose, there is a ton of different stuff to mess with and kind of tailor your own play style and jump into a like really massive world. I'd say it's almost, before you get a mount, it's like overwhelmingly big. There is so much stuff here, so many dungeons to dive into, and of course you can do it alone or with a friend. It seems like they've really recaptured that Diablo magic here. People are really digging Diablo 4. We were skeptical just because, you know, Activision Blizzard tends to mess things up and they deserve to be scrutinized, but it seems like this is a good one. If you're watching this video at the time of us putting it out, like, a lot of people are still working through this game and deciding for themselves, but it is a big hit. It seems like people are really loving it, and we certainly are too. But we want to hear from you guys in the comments. What are some of your favorite games of this year? Of course, this is our list. We're kind of just going off of like what made the biggest splash, stuff like that. You're probably going to disagree, and that's healthy. There's plenty of other games out there, so we'd love to hear your personal list down below. If you like this video and us just talking games every day, all you got to do is click the like button. That does help us very much. Thank you. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.